We are witnessing right now in real time the great castration of mankind, the great neutering, if you want. That's a bold statement, I know. But if you allow me, I'll try to explain myself as best as I can. I'm talking about every single aspect of our lives, from the individual's mind and body to its own soul and spirit. The average individual is very shallow when it comes to most things in life. The average individual doesn't have time to address or even question real problems with society and with himself. The average Joe just accepts everything that is thrown its way, accepts everything at face value, like news, like entertainment, like music, like movies, culture as a whole. And this is a huge problem, because it wasn't always like that. Nowadays, most people don't challenge what they are being fed, from food to entertainment and news propaganda. The average individual nowadays is very obedient, very compliant, because of a mixture of being fed a poor quality diet, also poor quality of entertainment like music, movies, art, culture as a whole. And how the individual nowadays is slowly being replaced by technology, rendering his physical abilities obsolete and useless. This is why we have obesity, and worldwide men experience a massive decline in testosterone levels. They don't even try to find an alternative because it is easy, and also they are too tired to care or even question this. This is why most people nowadays have a 9 to 5 job that is very tiring, psychologically speaking, not so much physically. This is why most people do tedious, boring, and repetitive tasks at their workplace. If you think about it, it is basically a daycare for adults to keep them from having children. That's in the case of Europe, North America, China, and Japan, of course. The rest have many, many children. The average global testosterone has plummeted in the past 4 to 5 decades. With each generation, men are weaker on average than its previous generation. And this is a very easily provable fact. Just check the statistics. And this thing is hidden from us. Let's talk about entertainment, art, music, movies, culture as a whole. Most people nowadays will listen to what is popular. You might say that that's always been the case. Granted. But what is popular nowadays? Hip hop, rap, pop, in other words, shit music. Music that is not made like the art form that it actually is. It is made like fast food, to be consumed quickly, and then forgetting you even had that meal, because in less than a few hours you are hungry for more. Music nowadays is very low quality. And that comes from me, a very seasoned musician of more than 18 years of experience and with the music conservatory under my belt. Music nowadays is shallow, meaningless. It is not even made with real instruments like real guitars, bass, drums, flute, violin, and so on and so forth. It is made with samples, most of it. In the studio, you have the same carbon copy mix that sounds lifeless, weak, without any imperfections, sterile and monotone. And this also extends to rock and metal music, whom, unlike most popular music genres nowadays, whom are now fully automated, metal and rock musicians still play real instruments. But you see, the mixing is also the same. A digitalized mixing that is all the same. Listen to any modern metal band, the same copy-paste sound and mixing on every new band, the same plastic sounding, sterile and weak sound. Back in the day, took real talent and real hard work to produce an album. Like, let's say, Ace of Spades by Motorhead, or Screaming for Vengeance by Judas Priest, or Altars of Madness by Morbid Angel. Those albums had an analog sound, a natural sound with imperfections. This is what made them so great. This is what made them iconic. This is what made them so beautiful. They needed to be creative, innovative, talented. It took hard work to produce an album. Musicians actually needed to know and to master how to play their instruments, to play very well, to know their parts. But nowadays, the editors, the sound mixing engineers will fix everything in post-production. The same thing with filmmaking. You have to realize that movies cannot be made without producers, without capital. And producers, of course, they want money. They want a return on their investments. This is why you have no creativity in today's movies, because no risks are being taken anymore. I made at least 4 videos on this specific topic about Hollywood and art as a whole. Movies are made nowadays like fast food, just to be consumed. Movies are not the highest art form like it was considered back in the 30s, let's say. It is viewed just as a product to be consumed, not the art form that it actually is. Producers don't hire talented actors anymore. They hire based on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I made many videos about this in the past. You can check them out. They hire based on looks, not on talent. They hire based on a variety of things like pay, notoriety, political affiliations, the political stances of those actors, what those actors might have, and so on and so forth. Producers don't hire talented script writers, which is the very basis of a movie. If you don't have a strong script, you don't have a movie. You have diarrhea. You have slop. You can have the most talented actors, the best director, the best cinematographer. If you don't have a script, you don't have a movie. And this is exactly what most people get nowadays. Slop. And they eat it up like cattle. This is why Hollywood is going bankrupt nowadays, because people don't go to the cinema anymore. Most people have movie fatigue, and also streaming services killed the cinema-going experience. All movies nowadays stay in the cinema for a week or 2 at best, and then they are streamed on streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and so on and so forth. People nowadays are getting the most stupid, brain-dead movies that exist. Creativity is non-existent. Every movie is made from a template nowadays. The same 3-act structure, the same plot points, the same MacGuffins, the same cliches, and people are tired of seeing the same shit over and over again. Let's talk a little bit about pornography as well. Pornography is very easy to access, and it's free. On the internet, you just need a connection and you're good to go. Pornography is easily accessible. It numbs us to sex and ultimately to love, and brainwashes us into seeing people as sex objects. The very human body as a sex object. It makes men uninterested into seeking a romantic relationship because they are satisfied. This is why in Europe, Japan, and North America, we have a massive loneliness epidemic that no one talks about. And now let's talk about food and nutrition. Our food is being poisoned by flavor enhancers, by food additives, by every artificial sweetener under the sun, by artificial fats, by the cheapest oils like palm tree oil, seed oils. Corn syrup is in everything. Refined sugars are in everything. And what is recommended by doctors is the famous food pyramid, where it's recommended to eat a grain-based diet. People have to realize that technology is rarely useful to us as humans. Actually, it is more harmful in the long run. Let me explain. The most eloquent, simple, and easily provable example is from 15,000 years ago, when men invented agriculture. Since then, our brains got smaller. Our craniums got smaller. Our jaws got smaller. Our very brain chemistry was altered, and the very bone density became weaker. The human mouth has 32 teeth. Have you ever wondered why 95% of all people have trouble with their wisdom teeth? The last pair of teeth, they either grow inside their cheeks or they grow perpendicular to the rest of their teeth. Because we as humans started eating softer and softer foods, and we didn't need those teeth anymore. We don't need it to chew flesh. And our bodies devolved accordingly. Same with obesity. This is why worldwide humanity has an obesity crisis. Because of our diets being processed, heavily processed, and full of sugars, fats. But you see, a very overlooked reason is cars. Yes, cars. Since the invention of the automobile, we started walking less and less. We take our cars everywhere. The very infrastructure of cities like New York, Los Angeles, and most metropolitan world areas are built around the car, around the automobile. You are required to have a car in today's world. Otherwise, you are left behind. And also, your freedom of movement is very narrow because of the car. And also why our muscles are becoming obsolete is because of automation. Everything is automated, making our very bodies obsolete. Manual labor is required less and less with each year. Technology has made us almost obsolete. And with the rapid rise of AI, it will make us even more obsolete. Point is that this mass neutering, this mass castration of the human nature, human behavior, human chemistry is a calculated plan that most people cannot comprehend. Most people cannot wrap their heads around this very concept, and they will label you as a conspiracy theorist. I have a quote by one of my country's most popular poets. His name is Mihai Eminescu. When a slave worships its chains, it is useless to talk with him about liberty. This is the case with most people nowadays. Our society, our modern, enlightened civilization is subversed, indoctrinated, pussified, for lack of a better word, into a culture of consumerism, into a culture of obedience, into a culture of acceptance, into a culture of degeneracy, sexual liberation, they call it, to numb ourselves with pleasures while our own IQs, our very chemistry, our physical fitness, our artistic creativity are siphoned out, are weakened, are eliminated. And we allow it because we are lazy. We are shallow. We don't seek for a better alternative. We don't seek for better music, better movies, better food, better lifestyle. We just accept it. In our modern, enlightened world, we have been brainwashed by Hollywood movies, by media, by experts, quote unquote experts, and scientists, and also by philosophers, to believe that this life is everything there is, that there's no being higher than humans, that there is no God. We have been subverted into this culture to become atheists. That's why retarded communities like Reddit are thriving with ignorance and stupidity, and also arrogance. Consumerism, indulgence, gluttony, pride, lust, and convenience are the enemies of mankind. The end goal is simple: to make you weak, dumb, obedient, lonely, and obsolete. The end goal is to make a civilization of slaves, a slave race. This is why Europeans and North Americans are guilt-tripped with words such as racism. That's why we are brainwashed into being tolerant, to accept mass immigration into our own countries that our forefathers fought, bled, and died to build and to maintain for thousands of years, so that a handful of weak but very wealthy individuals will rule over a mongrel slave civilization. And most people are gaslit into believing that this is a conspiracy theory. And now at the end of the video, you might ask yourselves, how can we fight this? Simple. Stop being arrogant and just open your eyes. And also watch my videos. That might help.